Welcome back to the two-move illumination. We'll run over a couple of things today regarding the previous video I've just done, and it's about the firmament, what the firmament is. Check out my TikTok. The firmament, everyone's thought the firmament is some dome over our flat Earth system, but that's very, very basic. Well, a lot of ignorance involved with that actually, because they haven't done the research. You have to go back and check out the etymology of certain sounds, and they might come up with the truth. But anyway, I've revealed it all. So there's nothing physical above us. It's even written, there's nothing physical above us as there's nothing spiritual below us. Spirituality is creation, and that's up there. That's heavenly. That's why we look to the stars, because that's creation. That represents creation that we cannot see otherwise. We can only imagine, and this is what religion is all about. It's what we don't know in the physical world, because it's the other half of man. It's the spiritual side, the hidden side, hidden under the veil, as it's all described. That's why we have all these ancient statues. What's the other word they use? Whatever. Of Mary, veiled. Mary represents the moon. She's the divine, she's the spiritual, she's the mother of creation. It's all on the religious spiritual side. We live in the physical world. We know what happens in the physical world. So we live it out in our dumb, ignorant ways. They're not interested in that. They're interested in you understanding the spiritual, the hidden, the secret, the reasons for life. And it's up to you as an individual to seek that out. If you want to stay dumb, you'll never find it, and you'll just keep reincarnating back into the system until one day you finally find the truth. Then you go through this process which takes you out of the vows. Okay? Sounds a bit weird, doesn't it? But it's fact. So there's nothing physical above us. It's all spiritual and heavenly, whatever. But when they talk about the firmament in the Bible, they're talking about our duality, our double system, you see, because there's each hemisphere. You got the northern hemisphere, which shrinks away to the north and expands out to the south. So we all expand as we move south and contract back into the north. Well, there's the duality of the two hemispheres. The northern hemisphere and the southern is mirrored. So this slice of the pie in here is mirrored here. And it's forever turning. So that mirrored image is always turning around here. But it's infinite because it's there. So it's obviously mirrored in all directions. As it turns, this is what you're getting moving around the southern hemisphere. So it's separated by the tropical gap. You've got to understand that. And all the magic is in this gap. Like in the human brain, there's the gap between the two hemispheres. That's where all the magic is going on. And you notice in this system here, the magnetic field is like this. It crosses over. Crosses over. Back again. It's the infinity symbol. And we get this in the human brain. Your left side of your brain operates the right hand side of your body. Okay? And you'll find the Egyptian hieroglyphs and reliefs and all. You'll see the cross is always involved with the cross. Everything comes back to the cross. And understand the physics of the earth and how everything from the poles flows to the tropical gap, because the poles are high pressure and it wants to seek balance, so it'll seek the low pressure which is in the tropics. This is why the winds will converge to the tropics. You see that in meteorology. And what they don't tell you, what they don't teach you at school, is each hemisphere has its own cycle. South, north, south, north. And they keep moving. And during the day, a daily cycle, all our celestial bodies, if you've got a cycle there, you've got all these celestial bodies doing their cycle here. You've got all the celestial bodies doing a cycle here, and like I say, these northern hemisphere cycles are mirrored to the south. But south is expanded, so everything's expanded out here, everything spans out. And it's mirrored. So it's back to front, diagonally opposing each other. That's why the field from north go like this, and the field from the south come around and go like that. So there's the two Arctics are north poles, the two south poles are either side of the tropics, and there's your firmament. We've shown this in the last video, how you get the firmness. Like poles don't want to merge, do they? But there comes a time when there is this overlay and they sync together. It's in my Patreon if you want to go there. Now we talk about the firmament, right? And then you've got to connect the word firmament with the word raqia. And no one's understood that either. So obviously, this is how basic they are. They don't even want to connect Ra with the sun. We all know the Ra represents the sun, don't we? We should do. Well, you got raqia. They usually use a smaller lowercase r. Raqia. It's what's originally in the Bible, and it's been translated to firmament. Well, Ra is sun, and then you got Kia. So you got the QIA way of spelling it. I never looked up the etymology of that one. I should have. But you've got the Hawaiian Kia, Keah, beloved or pure. And what's the sun? Pure plasma. Pure plasma back in here at the center of creation. We get an image of the sun out in our tropical gap. We don't go too deep into that. So it's beloved or pure, so it's fatherly, heavenly, because heaven's back in here, and it's the pure sun. And it's on the horizon of the black hole, which is at rest, the state of perfection, balance. Okay? And once a year, the earthly magnetic field system becomes balanced when there's an overlay. The 3:2 ratio, or the phi ratio, I should say, it's nearly 2:3. They find equilibrium. This is the movement of the tropical year when the southern hemisphere moves up and back again, moves up, and there's a point. It's called the Physica Piscis, the balance, perfection. Earth's magnetic field is balanced between the two hemispheres. Okay, so you got the Hawaiian Kia spelled this way, Keah, beloved or pure. Then you have the Maori in New Zealand, Kia. Kea, it's a bird, and it's based on the sound it makes, but then it's connected to Nesta in Greek, and which takes you to the Trojan War. I won't even look it up on the phone, I've got it. The Trojan War. And the Trojan War, the book of the Trojan War is all about the tropical gap here. The battle between this hemisphere and this hemisphere, and this is what creates the electromagnetic induction, which creates the sun. Two magnetic fields, imbalanced, potential energy, that's where that sort of phrase comes from. When the magnetic field changes, the electrical here moving around here, the moving electrical is changing the magnetic field. So the magnetic field, that is the changing magnetic field, because when the sun hits a certain position like there, this field, there's in the tropical gap here, the magnetic field spins into here, and from out of the south spins into there, and that's where they find this balance, which the imbalance creates the spark of the sun, you could say, but then the balance between the two, let's say it's 3:2, we'll find a balance of 2.5 plus 2.5, say, goes to feed the black hole, which is the balance. It's a long story. This is why simple people follow the globe, because this is too complicated for them. But I can break it all down, but no one's prepared to stay the distance. They're pretty accurate, and nobody can. The attention span's quite short. So I'm just rushing through it all on this video for once. Someone might just click, Okay, so the potential difference here, and it finds a state of equilibrium at the time of the sun's connection as it moves around the tropical gap over the day, and that's what's feeding the sun. When the magnetic field hits the sun and flows up the Milky Way, up to the Milky Way to feed the balancing black hole, which creates our whole realm. I mean, if that wasn't there, well, this wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. We come from the whole, which is perfection. Earth has been created from this perfect frequency, you could say. And our whole realm is based on resonance. And it's about finding its resting state. Frequencies finding a balance in the duality, in the dual system. This frequency hits this frequency, they eliminate each other. That means it goes to rest. It goes to its resting state. And if that happened in our realm here, it would all collapse and we wouldn't exist. Because this dual system with the phi ratio difference is governed on this imbalance, friction. There's always this friction. Ever been married? Okay, it's all in. So anyway, back to Kia again. We've got the Mary Kia takes you to the Greek. Yeah, the Trojan War, remember? It's about this battle here. Not that you'd know about it, but I break it down on my Patreon, I think. Then you got the Korean Kia, K-I-A, and it means to rise or come up out of, which is representing the sun again, rising out of Asia, out of the east. The sun is in here, and it's keyed in here. It's keyed in, locked in here, and it's the key out of this realm. If you want to follow me on Patreon. And then of course you've got our English word, the key. What does a key represent? Unlocking the false Egyptian door to get out of this realm. Key, it's all in here, the key to get out. It's all a conscious state. It's all described in the CIA papers. The holographic universe, it's a conscious projection. That's why we have the word horizon, eyes on, creating the spherical, what we think is spherical, because it's with your round eyeballs, rising on, eyes on the rise on. And this reverts back to stake or post. Key goes back to stake or post. What do you have up here? This is, if you want to go to Christianity, you've got the cross. And this is what happens. You got the snake. These are the snakes here, see? One, and then the other one. The two snakes. There's a cross, and then right here, boom, when they find balance, it illuminates the sun and then feeds back into the black hole. There's your balance. It finds the equilibrium here, 2.5, but boom, feeds the black hole. But the friction, the offset, creates the spark, the initial spark. So the moving electrical is changing the magnetic field, because the magnetic field does this on the Earth. There's a tropical gap, say. There's a magnetism. Come over, boom, bang. It's always going like this. Positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative. Okay. Another thing here while we're here, this final experiment dude here, they don't understand what this means. Sun going into the underworld and the Taurus field. The Arctic sun moving to the Antarctic sun, going into the underworld. It's come over the north, so the southern hemisphere, hits the autumn, boom, goes into the underworld there. Or in the northern hemisphere, summer, boom, oh, it's gone into the underworld. In the meantime, we're getting it. We get it in the south. It's just the change here, you see. And just like we see in magnetism, look, two souths, there's the firmament, but you flip it over, just like here, north and south, flip it over, oh, they merge. But that's not life. Life is all about this, there's your firmament, and it's all about this friction going on between the male and the female. or the phi ratio difference. What else we got here? Day and night, the two opposing Milky Ways. The raqia, magnetic induction between the two hemispheres that creates the sun to the potential energy, the offset. The potential energy of the phi ratio. Magnetism cycle of the current, because the sun, southern hemisphere sun coming from the south. That's your that's the tropical year, when the magnetic field of the south comes up to merge with the north and then goes back down again, down and out, up and in, down and out. But I've been over all this stuff before, so that's all. I just wanted to mention raqia in association with the firmament. Wake up, flat earthers. There's nothing to do with a dome up here. This is, you can say this is, well, you can't even say that's firm, because it's just your arc of horizon. Your personal arc of horizon is seen like that. And it's all these inert gaseous layers make up the light spectrum. So you could draw that as a rainbow. So all the frequencies in the light spectrum is the frequencies, right? And the whole realm's about frequencies, resonating frequencies. And in there you see your celestial bodies and the sun. The sun's a white light that's made up by the 7 colours of the light spectrum. So we don't hear the frequencies of the infrared and ultraviolet and all that sort of stuff. You know, dogs, animals do. Yeah, so you can't say it's firm, because firm is down here at high pressure. The pressure reduces as we elevate. It's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. This is what changes the molecule, the water molecule, into its purest state as it steps up thinner and thinner. Because it's doing that process, science wants you to think that out here is some magical space we can all go to or something. No, it only goes so high, then it gets sucked through the Milky Way to feed the black hole. If anything, in here, locked in the centre North Arctic, is space. It's the vacuum of space. There's the S-curve of all the stars and the moon in there, but the ecliptic plane is at the top. Ecliptic plane supports all the planets, the 7 wandering stars, but then you've got to include the moon, but the moon's down in here. So you bring it all together to a flat plane, and then we can imagine what's in there. So that's creation, and we see it all like this. So the plane's like that, but in that we see it like this. As things come around into our horizon, they come along, come under our horizon and go over, because we're looking out. Whether you want to put us in the black, we're in the centre of the black hole looking out, but creation is, you know, we're the created. We're 90 degrees to creation. Everything comes along, goes up and over our horizon, goes out. All the celestial bodies are in here going like this. If you put on the plane, it's like that, isn't it? So put on its side, everything's passing over like that. Then you've got to bear in mind that the ecliptic plane flexes down and goes back up. Down and out, up and in. So imagine that. It would be sort of like going like this, going like that. You got your thing like that, looking like this, then it's looking like that. Okay? You only get this information here, you won't get anywhere else on the internet, so good luck looking if you don't like listening to me. Anyway, if you do like this sort of thing, don't forget to put likes up and share it. These videos don't go anywhere if you don't share it, because they're shadow banned. Cheers.